You want to start the clubhouse first? Man, let me tell y'all, man. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SITREP Podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest. Okay, 2 years in the making. At least. I want to tell you, man, I'm like, how the hell can I get you on the podcast? I'd be like, hey, man, I got a $10 million check in the office. I had to do everything to get this brother on the podcast. Anthony Reanue, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, first and foremost, cheers.
Cheers. Absolutely.
All right. Let's get right into it, man. I got a special day for you guys. Let me take a little taste. This is a non-GMO beer right here. All right, we're gonna kick it. Reason why we got a beer because we got a lot to talk about. All right, so let's hop right into it. Thank you guys for coming on the show. We are live on all social media platforms. If you guys want to ask us any questions, please raise your hand. We're going to invite you up. I see Bruno Nascimento. Bruno, if you want to hang out and help us moderate, we're on different social media platforms, and we're about to kick it like a sensei. We got a lot to unpack. So, Anthony Reanue, brother. Welcome again.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so I have a whole bunch of questions for you. First and foremost, where are you from?
So I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I'm Crenshaw, better known as Crenshaw. I was born and raised out there.
Okay, and how old are you?
So currently I am, I want to say about 36. I gotta count. Yes, 36 years old.
36 years old.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then what made you join the U.S. Navy?
I wanted to see something different. Obviously, I come from a neighborhood. If you've seen Training Day, that was my block. So Antoine Fisher came out, got my attention, believe it or not. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about that, but it was a poster up in the recruiting station. But no, a lot of his background is kind of similar to my background. I come from a family with a single mom, and I was the older brother. I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and I had to show them the way. And I was college bound, but didn't want to put that burden on my mother. So I was approached by a Navy recruiter, and here we are.
Okay. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
So I have one brother who unfortunately passed away, and my sister who's also in the Navy.
Okay. Oh, your sister's active duty Navy right now?
Yes, she is. She's also a realtor on my team and a lender.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it in the family.
How do I not know that? That's right. Because your butt wasn't on the podcast. That's now why I don't know. That's cool, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about your actual your life. Was it difficult growing up in LA where you were from?
It was. There wasn't a lot to look up to, wasn't a lot to aspire to. A lot of folks never left, the neighborhood. Across the big, little highway across from or outside my house, across the alley, there's a highway, La Brea, or I call it the highway. It's a big street, and then there's the Baldwin Hills mansions. And so I knew I always wanted to end up across the street, but, was never really accepted over there. Didn't hang out over there, didn't have friends over there. We all stayed in our neighborhood, so I wanted more. And, so it was, I knew I needed to get out of that environment because I wasn't going to grow out there, so.
Okay. All right, so now you are you said that you have siblings. Mm-hmm. And you're the older brother. What were the main challenges that you had as a young kid?
As a young kid, is just keeping my nose clean. Walking across the street when I see something going on, that shouldn't be happening. Avoiding the gangs, the Bloods in the neighborhood, and then when I walk outside my neighborhood, wearing the right colors to make sure I don't get caught up in another neighborhood or someone asks me where I'm from. So it was really just it was a challenge to keep my nose clean and just not get involved with certain individuals. Mm-hmm. And it was a real challenge daily. I got kicked out of school when I was younger, so I got bussed out. So I went to school very early in the morning, and there was a program in Los Angeles called PWT, Public with a Permit with Transportation. And so from third grade on, I went to what we would consider predominantly white schools. So and I would come home late. So I kind of was able to avoid it during that time, but on the weekends it was hard, but me and my family, and I just wanted to do right by my brother and sister, make sure they came out good as well. So I had to be that role model. I had to be that father figure.
And what is the age difference between you and your other siblings?
So my brother was 3 years younger than me, and then my sister's 3 years younger than him. So we have a 3-year spread amongst all three of us.
And where's your family originally from?
So my family's originally from Belize. So my mother and my father are both from Belize, and they migrated here. And and I went, after I was born, spent some time in Belize, but predominantly I was raised in Los Angeles.
Now, when you said you saw Antoine Fisher, if you guys don't know about that movie, make sure you download it and take a look at it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a real good movie. It's a child pretty much challenging with dealing with attitude, and somebody took special interest in that person. Mm-hmm. Was there anyone in your community that took special interest in you, a male figure?
I had several, I wouldn't say took total interest, but I had some folks that I could look up to, that I, got a little advice here and there from. Mm-hmm. And I really had to navigate on my own to figure out what should I do? If I didn't get bussed out of that area though and see different things, I probably would have stayed and been a product of that environment. Okay.
So you joined the Navy at 18 years old?
17 and a half.
17 and a half.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's a big decision to make. Were there any fears or reservations?
Absolutely. I don't want to die. Right. So, I don't want to die for this country. My family's not from this country. So I was like, but really it was opportunity to get college education. Actually, I didn't even take a bonus. I took, at the time, there was I wish I never took it because I don't know what it is now, but there was an increased GI Bill amount that got added. But now the post 9/11's out, there's no need for that. It was some type of plus up program. And, yeah, it was, I didn't want to do it, but I did it because I knew I needed to do it for the family. So. Okay.
All right. So now you joined at 17 and a half. What was your experience, your first impression of the Navy senior leader, like the person at boot camp?
My first impression was, this is a redneck, right? Like I never met one in real life, but this dude, man, this chief was hardcore. But, regardless of his comments or the way they treated us. But I mean, really, just let's talk about that first day when you first land. There was one lady I heard yelling. Her voice was probably the scariest because it reminded me of my mom. She was from Jamaica, and the accent is similar. And that's probably the only person that really scared me. But other than that, I mean, it was just a shocker to get, stripped down, put everything in a box, send it home, and put on the same sweats and to be told what to do. The yelling didn't bother me. It was more so just the fear of the unknown. And I was like, man, what's going to happen tomorrow? I just didn't know what was going on. So it was different. And people from different backgrounds, the first day they said, who has never seen a black person before or lived with a black person before? And people raised their hand. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And who's never seen a white person? And so, or Hispanic folks. So it was a lot of that going on. And I was just shocked. It was a big shock for me. Really.
Okay. So now you're in boot camp. You graduate from boot camp. Where'd you go to boot camp?
So I went to boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Okay, Great Lakes, Illinois. Was it cold there or hot?
Absolutely cold. So I went in January and it was snowing. First time I had ever been in snow. So that was another challenge. Never seen the free, was it the hard, the black ice. I never seen that before. Never seen deer before. Mm-hmm. So, to see these antlers outside my window at night, it's frosted glass. That kind of scared me. It was like a little nightmare. But yeah, it's my first time out there being in that type of weather.
Okay. So now your first duty station, where was that located at?
My first duty station was, so first I went to A school in Meridian, Mississippi. And
that's a shocker being.
Absolutely. The airport was as big as this room. And the guy that was working at the little kitchen, little restaurant, was actually the cab driver that took us to base. So that was a shocker. There was no TSA, none of that. They opened up like a garage door and just threw our bags in. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm used to LAX, and way different experience. And got in this guy's personal van. It seemed like Uber wasn't a thing at the time, and he dropped us off at the base, and they let him on base, and we checked in. So after that, I went to Lemoore, California.
Okay, yep. Lemoore. Shout out to Lemoore. That's a unique place.
Absolutely, unique is a key word. Yeah, absolutely.
So what was your job description in the U.S. Navy?
So logistics specialist.
Okay. So basically planning and shipping, it's a pretty big task, right?
Absolutely. We also deal with mail as well.
Okay. So a load station in the U.S. Navy. Now, tell me about your military career. How long have you been in the U.S. Navy? So
I'm approaching 20 years. I'm due to retire soon. Luckily got approved recently. It was a fight, but now my time is wrapping up. So... What was the question again? I didn't lost
So tell me about your career in the Navy. I know that you did recruiting, and then have you done any deployments? Yeah, so I started off in aviation. That was fun. Got to be a plane captain, and never quite got the qual because I was colorblind, so I didn't finish out. But learned that about myself. Didn't know I was colorblind until I got in the Navy. And then so I finished my time in Lemoore after 6 years. Went recruiting in Los Angeles, and luckily, Los Angeles, I got to do the Valley of LA. And then I went to Crenshaw, where I was from. Got to walk to work. It was a great time. That's probably the best duty I ever had. And then came on down here, and I've done 3 carriers down here, 2 staff duties, and I finished on my tour on the staff duty. So it's been great. Now you ready to get out? I'm ready to get out. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, absolutely. So we pretty much covered your Navy career. What was the hardest duty station? The hardest duty station, I would say it would have to be the first one. Whenever you first get to your first duty station, it's a shock. You're away from home. Although I was 2.5 hours away, it was a place I'd never been before. It's the middle of nowhere. It's near Fresno, Central California. So it took a while to get acclimated. I'm young, a virgin. I'll share that. And then, and the first time I've been away from home, so I had to learn a lot. I had to learn how to be a man at my first duty station. So right, 17. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. So now there's a special lady with a twinkle in her eye. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that scenario. Where did you meet Mrs. Reanue? Okay, so I'm gonna leave some parts of the story out. But I met her. Actually, we were on my first ship here in San Diego, the Ronald Reagan. We met there. She checked in and had no interest in her. She was just one of my sailors. I was had a huge division I was running of I think 65 sailors at the time. They were all over the place. I was farming them out, and so over time we just I think 3 ships later is when we actually connected, and it was actually over her buying a house. So she came to me for advice, to purchase a home, and I was a command financial specialist on board the ship. I was like, oh, yeah, you definitely can buy a house. And I walked her through it. And as she was searching with my old agent, shout out to Diana, and she was searching with my old lender, I kind of just showed up at some of the places, and then we got really close. So. And for those of you that are, if you guys want to see us live, please click the link above my head. You will be able to see the SITREP YouTube channel. We're interviewing Anthony Reanue. He has a large real estate team, and he's also a senior loan officer in Military Mortgage Group. And he's going to tell you how he was able to do that. Now, so you guys met, you being the financial. When did you know that she was the one? When I looked at her credit report. She had a house. Look, the credit was good. I said, you know what? Then I was like, she kind of looks good. And everybody at work was saying, hey, she checks you out. She actually found me. I wasn't looking at her. Is that true, Sasha? Yeah, look, don't let her tell the story. But no, and it was just, after a while, I was like, I see she was good with kids and she had a great personality. And I was in my 30s. I'd always said I'm not getting married till I was 30. Mm-hmm. And so now I was 31. So now I was like, okay, I don't want to be, the 40-year-old virgin. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, no, let's, we just started connecting and just kind of just all spiral from there. And how long have you guys been married? So we've been married now. You put me on the spot there. No, just kidding. We've been married now for going on 4 years. That's magnificent. Now, you guys have a very beautiful family. Thank you. I appreciate it. How do you manage? Now, both of you guys were in the Navy at the time, correct?
Yes.
So what does that lifestyle look like, with the Navy? Do you believe that they provide support for dual military families?
Yes and no. So there are some outlets. There are some things you can do to co-locate, just like, you can co-locate in the Marine Corps. It takes a while to get those things spun up, because it was, they didn't know you were married. They didn't know your intentions. So it's definitely understandable. But once those things were in place, things usually work out. The thing what makes it challenging is, for the kids, right? So the kids in the daycare and our work schedules with deployments, and Sasha's schedule is different from my schedule. And you really got to work with your leadership. So it really depends on the people you work with as well. They can make it challenging, or it can be super easy. And unfortunately, Sasha made a decision to get out for the family because I was going on deployment. They assigned on a carrier. They assigned her to a different carrier. And there's no way we were both going to be it, and they couldn't support us. So she had to make the decision to get out, and then she ran a real estate team, and I went on deployment.
Now, see, this is the part that a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of things, I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, I would go, the kids will be asleep when I left, and then when I got home, they will be asleep. So I had no time with them. Right. And I experienced the same thing, that you did, because the mother of my kids is in the Navy as well. So was it hard for her to get out? Did you experience her having difficulty being a good sailor, getting out of the Navy, or was she ready to go?
Oh, she was ready. I think internally, she probably had some battles with it. I said, hey, it's up to you. So I gave her no pressure. Probably would have helped if I said get out, but I didn't. So she still went to work every day, still did what she needed to do. It was like she wasn't going to get out. She worked up and after, her terminal date. She still went into work and made sure all their sailors were taken care of. So she was like a mom to a lot of those sailors. And I know for her, that was probably a huge challenge because me and her kind of have the same kind of leadership style. She's a little nicer than I am, but she definitely, I know it was hard for her, but she never admitted to it. Right. And so.
And shout out to Sasha. She is the one, I will tell you, and I can say this on camera, behind the scenes, like looking at what she does, like as far as organized, she made me and Connie step our plate up in regard to her organizational skills. What did she do in the Navy?
So she was the same as me, logistics specialist.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Same MOS. Okay. Yep. So now she gets out of the Navy. What made you get into real estate?
So I got into real estate back when me and her were buying our first home. So we weren't married. We're both veterans. And so this is huge for me. And this is really what pushed it. So I had always had thoughts of doing real estate. I did a career development more with a sailor, kind of just giving her pipeline to figure out her ladder to figure out what she wants to do in her career. And she brought up real estate, and I said, well, me too. And that time period when I was selling my house to get rid of my bachelor pad and get us into this other home, just so nobody would show up at the door. I stayed with Sasha during that time. No, but when we were purchasing, we got turned down from a bunch of lenders because they said you can't buy if you're not married. So actually, folks told us that we need to get married in order to buy a house. And I said, you got to have that wrong, because I'm a reader. I wanted to be an agent, so I knew what the VA lender's handbook said, and I was bringing it up, and they're like, no, you need to get married. And I said, I can't believe you tell sailors to do that. Now, I've been in Navy, a senior person in the military. There's no way I would ever push anyone to get married. I've seen a lot of bad divorces. Obviously, sailors and Marines get married young. And so I was like, no, that's huge for me. I'm a Christian. I was like, no, one time I'm going to get married. That's it. I'm never going to get married again. And so for them to say that, I was like, well, no, we're not ready yet. We had our plan, our goals. So, that really is what spun it up. And we went through the process with that realtor. He was great. That lender was great. And but just knowing that every professional we talked to had different takes on it, it drove me crazy, because I'm very by the book, and I could see the black and white, and they just wouldn't take it. And so I said, well, if they're doing well, I can do this, and I can do well, and I can represent sailors like I've been doing in the military. So we both got our license. Now,
did you guys get your license at the same time, or?
No, so I did it first, and I was out working, late, early, So if you're in the military and you have another job, it's a challenge in itself.
Oh yes, big time.
And so, if you're married, and agents can attest to this, your spouse, and Sasha may not admit to this, but if your spouse, sees you out late and you're coming home, because I stuck our time block, so I stuck to a strict schedule. And she just, she was just like, hey, like, what are you doing? You're always on the phone. You have this going on. You're going all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, you know what? Come get your license and see. Like, come
Yep.
on. And she already thought about doing it, but she was going to wait. And I said, no, speed that up. Like, let's go. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can do it easily. So now that she's in the business, and, when she got in the business, she understood what was going on. And, so it was good for her to see exactly what we do.
And what's crazy about this, guys, and guys, if you guys have questions, Bruno, Jake, thank you guys for joining us. I see you guys that are on stage, my brother Ellis, Tasha. What's up, y'all? I appreciate you guys pulling up on Clubhouse. If you guys have questions, raise your hand. Does anybody have any questions for Anthony before we move on to the next segment? Any questions? Anybody want to come off mic and say anything? Outstanding. Well, we'll keep.
Hey,
okay.
Keep rocking it, Chief. Keep rocking it, Chief.
Appreciate it. Who y'all?
Shout out to Bruno. So now, okay, being a realtor in the Navy, did you get any push? Now, my experience in the Marine Corps, okay, is that on active duty, I did it for 10 years before getting out, right? 12 years actually. And the biggest challenge that I saw is that a lot of people were telling service members not to buy properties. Were you dealing with the same thing?
Yes, every single day. Yeah, no, it's crazy to me. It's like the military leadership doesn't want you, well, one, to have another job, two, to tell anyone to do better for themselves. And, it's what I've seen. I just did a deployment 2 years ago. I knew folks in the, in our community, in our leadership ranks that had multiple properties, but would never tell their sailors to do it or their Marines to do it. And it blew my mind because I'm out here vocalizing, not for business, because I made it very clear, hey, I'm on the same ship as you. I don't want to represent you. And a lot of folks are going back to different places. They're with a MU or whatnot. And I was like, hey, I just want to give you the information. And I got pushed back for that. And I'm a command financial specialist. That's actually our job. But when they hear your license, it's like they don't want, they're like, oh, we don't want you to speak. And that drives me crazy because why would you not want your sailors and Marines to do better? Like it's a huge challenge, and it's like, yeah, just rent, and everyone thinks they know everything. And I would always have to say, how many properties do you own? You're speaking all this negative nonsense in these folks' lives, and they trust you because you're a leader, and you're not correct. So I dealt a lot with that, so much so I just got tired of talking to these folks. Like it was real bad. So. I
don't understand that because, for those of you who don't know, military people get basic allowance for housing. Can you explain what that is to the people who don't know?
Absolutely. So basic allowance for housing is a tax-free benefit that they get every month. It's a financial compensation. So out here in San Diego, it's, $3,000 plus, depending on the ranks, for them to go get a rental or a home. So just to live. And if they're dual military, they're getting two of them, and if they have dependents or they're married, they get a higher stipend. So, so just a allowance to live.
Now, one thing that I did see is I saw, I don't know if you saw this, but the senior leaders in the senior enlisted advisor to the Navy, the E9,
yes,
was on talking to Congress about the living experience for sailors being on the ship.
Yes.
Can you cover that? And what do you think the Navy needs to do better at?
Right. So what the MCPON, the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, was speaking about to Congress, and I caught a little excerpt of that, I think, on social media. He was really talking about, like, it's stressful coming off of a 9-month deployment on this steel ship where the only personal space you have is that bed. That's it. That's the only personal space you have. And when you close those curtains, that's the only free time you have where you don't see anyone. Otherwise, you're around hundreds of people every day. People you work with, you see them every single day. And so when you pull in, if you're married or you're senior, you go home. And the young sailors, these kids, I call them kids, they stay on board the ship.
They got to live on the ship?
They live on the ship. And so when the ship goes in the yards, which is a maintenance period after deployment, the ship's getting repainted, they're drilling, all these noises are going on, these kids still live there. And they have to ask permission to come aboard, ask permission to leave. They go out to the club in San Diego. They come back at night to this steel ship, and they're still being scrutinized about what they're wearing, what they're doing. Curfew, there's all kinds of things that come with that. And so the living standards, I know MCPON, he was talking about getting at least temporary housing for them or BH for them while they're in that yard period. But I didn't catch the rest of it. But I think I'm sure for Marine Corps and other services as well, when people get off deployment, they don't want to be around people from work.
No, absolutely
I know
not.
exactly where they are. I can walk into their space and just, and I can call them at any time because I know exactly where they sleep. That's their address. That's their address. That's it. Like
they can't hide.
They can't hide. And there's no Wi-Fi, on most of these ships. Like they will have to go sleep in their car or be in their car, which is illegal on base. Actually, you can't sleep in your car, just to talk to the family because they're not getting service in that ship.
That's crazy. See, I didn't even think about that. That's put a fire emoji in the chat if you think that this is good information for service members. And I think this is the reason why it's important for us to talk to people about leveraging their housing allowance. Mm-hmm. So now you became a real estate professional.
Right.
Okay. And then you start advocating for veterans. Who was your first teammate that you had on your team?
The first teammate is actually two. So a friend duo. So it was my wife, Sasha, and Catherine. So Catherine has been with me and Sasha since the beginning. So that's three.
That's solid. Okay. Yeah. And then how many people are on your team right now?
So right now we have a total of 21, not counting the folks on Skillbridge.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the hardest part about running? Let's get into it. Do y'all want us to unpack it? Let's get to it.
let me drink on this one.
Yeah, I need a drink too. Managing people is going to be next, guys. And raise your hand and come on stage, guys. For those of you that are on Clubhouse, please raise your hand, get on stage if you guys have questions. We're going to talk about running a mega team. Okay. So now I was on social media, right? Alone and Unafraid. Okay. We were Remax Liberty at the time. And I saw this guy's social media stuff start popping up everywhere. And I'm like, man, we could dominate San Diego. We could team up, right? So I called this guy. He hung up on me. Then I called him again, and he called me a bald-headed scallywag.
Oh, stop it. Sorry.
So now building a team, and let's talk about that, okay? Mm-hmm. What is the hardest part about running a team of different personalities?
It's the personalities. It's, running, whenever you're managing a team or leading a team, you're dealing with folks from different walks of life, different experience levels. And you have to, a lot of times I have to put myself on the back burner in order for me to support them properly. And so it's really just learning how to talk to certain folks. So I'm I study disc profiles, and I'm a very red personality when I'm in the real estate space. And so some folks are very yellow. They don't care about details, which, is crazy to me, but that's their personality. But they're good at going out and getting folks. So really understanding how each person on my team is different, and how they all contribute. Because, my wife got me a book, shout out to Sasha. It was called Surrounded by Idiots. And that book, yeah. And that book right there literally told me exactly how to deal with different personalities. And I was able to calm down. Because being a militant, chief, it's very easy to, maybe I won't get through that person because they'll shut down by my responses. And so, not that I thought they were all idiots, but it really opened my eyes up to just their different personality types and how to really get through to them so they can actually hear me, because they may not hear me, but just the way I normally talk. So that's been a huge challenge, just managing that and getting folks to get up to the level in which you want them to perform. So that in itself is another challenge, but it's just really treating each of them in the way they need to be treated in order to get them to where I need them to go as a team. So
now I know that the most important powerful piece on the chessboard is the queen,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So what? Tell me how Sasha is able to do things while you're at work.
Absolutely. So Sasha is actually the team lead. So I consider myself the chief inspiration officer. Whether I inspire them by putting the boot to ass, or excuse my language, or whatever needs to be done, I call myself the chief inspiration officer. So Sasha, directionally, she handles admin and management, and managing any business or team is a challenge. And so she does that with grace. So she's very good with folks, I consider her nice, even though she's mean to me, but she can handle that day to day, and she's very organized. And so she helps them through contracts. She's able to help them, communicate to their clients and really be there for them on a daily basis. And when it comes to something where it's hardcore negotiations, not that she can't do it, or where somebody needs to be the a-hole in the room, it's me. And so on our team, that's just a really good dynamic, because we can yin and yang each other and use each other for whatever needs to be done. But also, if somebody on the team is not really jiving with me, she's another personality that they can get with, because some folks just can't. I've had other team members where they may not just, may not like me or just may not be able to tolerate, the way I come off. And so Sasha is able to be that other person. So having the two team lead dynamic has been has been very useful for our business.
And I'm going to tell you something funny. That's what Connie is to me.
Yep, absolutely. So when we came here, I was like, oh, look, they're the same.
Yep.
Yin and yang. Yep, absolutely.
So now what was the hardest part about, I know you've grown immensely, right? Your team is growing. How did you feel when that first agent left your team?
Ooh, so that,
we're going to talk about this, guys.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want to know about this, because we're going to give you the good, bad, and the ugly. And if you guys stick around, we're also going to talk about the NAR lawsuit, okay? Because I want you guys to hear, what it is that we're doing. And we're going to go all the way down. We're going to, and if you guys have questions about, running a big team or sustaining a big team or anything like that, put your questions in the chat. I will be able to see it and answer them as well. So, the first agent that left, can you talk to me about that?
It's funny you say that. We just did an award ceremony at the San Diego Association of REALTORS on Saturday at the Hilton, and I was ready to leave. I'm saying, hey, Sasha, let's go. We're saying our goodbyes, and I look down the way where all the agents are coming out of the conference hall or the ballroom, and the first agent that left my team was walking towards me. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I haven't seen this guy.
Go stand in the.
Hey, he's looking away. I'm like, but Sasha says I like confrontation. So I was like, well, I'm about to say something, right? So, but it wasn't a bad guy. It's just when folks don't know how to leave a team, right? And
that's correct.
It was his first team. It was his first. He's I usually have newly licensed agents, and one thing the last conversation I had with this guy. So the way he tried to leave my team, I thought was undercutting me because I was at sea. And I had no idea of his intentions, and he started making good money. I put a lot of time into this agent, a lot of time. I spoke to him more than I probably talked to my wife during that period when he was on my team because, we were at work most of the day, and I poured into that person. When you pour into people, you expect, something in return. And so it hurt when I heard that he wanted to leave the team. So as soon as I got back, I was like, nope, I told the broker, hold off. I want to talk to this guy. And when I got back, he said, hey, Anthony, I'm going to let you handle it, and I appreciate that. And I sat the guy down, and it was an uncomfortable conversation. We're sitting about as far as me and you were sitting. And I was just like, yo, what in the, what are you thinking? We have an agreement. I got you to where you are. Like, how do you have the audacity? So he's thinking on his side, how do you have the audacity to ask me that? I'm a top performing agent. You're making all this money. And so, so I get it, but I understand people, and I understand people generally are selfish, and so I calmed down and I was like, look, man, I didn't put you on my team because I want you to leave in a bad way. If you want to go and do something different, that's fine. But, I always have an out, right? And so we had a great conversation after that. And the next time I get to see him, he's there. So we got to catch up. It was good. It got some closure there. And I had not, I see him, see his listings. And I was like, I'm never going to show my clients his houses. But no, just kidding.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, look, bro, I feel the same way, bro. The reason why I ask you that question is because, it's okay to feel the way that you feel, but I feel like there's a lot of conflict with people, and they don't say anything.
They don't say anything. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So it's kind of like if you have an issue, we don't know what's wrong unless you communicate. And that's how you have an effective team. But I also feel like they used to hurt my feelings too, bro.
Yeah.
Like I have agents that were in our organization that I put a lot of time into. And I'm not going to lie to you, it broke my heart to see them leave.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why it did break my heart is because I felt like, but what I learned from that scenario is sometimes the leaves will fall off the tree. Right. But you're still a tree. It leaves room for new people. And then I had to get out of my own way and say, you know what? I wish you success because I know beyond a reasonable doubt I did everything to make you successful.
100%. And I echo the same sentiments. I have to say, no one that has left my team has not said I helped them in some way. And so that I appreciate. I've never, after that we had some other folks leave in different ways. But one thing that is true, a lot of them have called to come back. And once you close that door, no, I'm just kidding. But, I've had some that have been very forthcoming, like, hey, I want to go try something different. They leave and they come back. I've had a few of those. And I welcome that. But, yes, communication is huge for me. especially since, like you said, you put time into them, but also money. Like I gave my personal clients to these folks, my sailors, my friends. And when those people go to sell, guess who they call it? That agent. That's the agent that helped them buy the house.
Yep.
So, and then they get, additional business from that, residual business from that.
Yep.
And so I invested in you. And if they leave for anything that's to do with compensation, which we have a very generous compensation plan, but if they leave for anything revolving around compensation, I'm like, well, that's crazy. Or training, we do a lot of training. So I make sure all my ducks are in a row. So if you leave, it ain't my fault. And so I'll leave it there. But yeah, it's that did hurt. That hurt. Even still stings a little bit if they, when I hear folks thinking about it but agents are always getting pulled and recruited every which way anyway. So there's just some allow that to get into them, and then they think the grass is greener on the other side. So I let it be.
And the reason why I asked that question is because I'm gonna tell you right now, being running an office or running a team is a very emotional thing.
Oh yes.
And it's very difficult to deal with, especially when you grow. Military people, I don't know about you, and I'm a Marine, man. Like, I love the people that I work with.
Yes.
Right. And you build relationships and rapport with people. And it kind of stings because people, in most cases, have communication problems. They don't have. It's not that they don't. It's not that you're not doing something, but it's like, why? If I've invested this much time into you, I help you get your business off the ground. Do you not consider me family?
Right.
Why can't we just sit down and have a conversation to see if we can have be complimentary to each other, because I know that I poured into you, right? So now you lost a couple of people, and personality is hard to deal with. Now, in today's market, do you believe that people should be investing in real estate?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. So I'm going to talk about VA, right? Because that's my niche. So I think folks should. I mean, obviously, we saw what inflation did to, folks. It's hard to afford anything right now. There's no dollar menu at McDonald's. It's rough. And so the only thing that beats inflation is real estate, right? And so we saw during COVID, I mean, people nowadays are holding on to these 1.99% interest rates, and they have all this equity they're sitting on because property values have increased drastically across the nation. And so it's not going to go down. It's just going to go up. When rates, the Fed's meeting today, I don't think rates are going to come down anytime soon. But when it does, we're gonna see an influx of folks coming on the market. For our veterans right now, there hasn't been many buyers in the last 6 to 12 months. So it's a perfect time for my VA buyers to get in. And I'm yelling it as loud as I can. I'm not doing a good job on social media, but I'm really trying to tell all my folks, like, hey, if you're thinking about buying, now's the time before the market gets crazy like during COVID.
That's correct, yeah.
Whether you know anything about real estate or not, one thing is as soon as rates come down, that there's going to be an influx of folks and the prices will only go up. So I'm really trying to get my VA buyers out there right now, as long also my FHA, my conventional folks as well. But really trying to say, hey, look, before it gets competitive, I don't want you to be at the bottom of the pile. A lot of people are scared of the VA loans, whether it be listing agents or sellers, because of bad advice from the listing agents. And they, even veterans are like, oh, I don't want to accept a VA loan. The appraisal is bad, or it's hard, and they don't know. And so I spend a lot of time educating. But I will say, yes, jumping on real estate right now, especially for my vets, is a great idea.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, we're 10 million houses short, guys. So right now, it's going to take no, not 10 million. It's 7 million houses short in America. It's going to take 10 years for us to catch up with that. So for those of you that are out there, there's another special thing that's happening right now, and it's election year. So anytime, do you think a president wants to run on a poor market or poor interest rates? No. So, projections from 2019 to today, the housing market has went up anywhere from 15 to 18% year over year. So that's a big thing. So I want to ask you another question about becoming a chief, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I will honestly say I can look you eye in the eye and tell you that the chiefs take better care of service members better than the Marine Corps does with their, E6 or above. And less than 5%, I think that's the number, make it to chief.
Yes.
What is that experience like?
So the road to chief is a challenge. But once you go through the chief season, which I won't speak about, and you get tried, tested, and you're accepted into the chief's mess, we call it a mess, because it's a mess. But we bring all our problems in. And what's beautiful about the Chiefs mess, especially one that's doing it right, is you can walk out with solutions. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that we can't do because officers above us rely on us and the sailors below us rely on us. And I think the reason we do it so well is because we have a diverse group of folks, regardless of their backgrounds or their beliefs. When we walk into that room or that galley or that space, we're chiefs. And so our only mission is to take care of the sailors. Mm-hmm. So it's the one job where, some folks may say we're babysitting, but I actually appreciate it because it's literally my only job as a chief. I have my technical duties, but I have folks to do that. And so my job is to take care of them. Hey, how's your family? While they're in the middle of, moving the forklift around and moving stores or stocking shelves or, moving ammo, I'm checking on them to make sure they're good. Look at, make sure their finances are in order. Make sure that their kids are enrolled in school. And so it's the one job where you get to take care of people, and I absolutely love it. And they respect you if you do it right. And you have a lot of respect around the world. No matter where we go, people know what a chief is. Yes. And it's just a great fraternity of great folks.
Now, how has your Navy experience transition into managing your real estate team? What are some of the core values that you have instilled in running a team?
So really, I treat it no different. So I think that's what made me most successful. So we have our motto, we have our mantras. Our motto is integrity first, people always. We stick to that, right? And so just like in the Navy, they have honor, courage, and commitment. We're always about integrity and then our folks. So
wait a minute, Matt. The honor, courage, commitment came from the Navy?
Yes.
I've been lied to, man. I thought honor, courage, commitment was a Marine thing.
Oh,
hey, y'all hear this? Sheldon?
Department of the Navy. Department of the Navy, Marine Corps.
So now, how does it feel to work with? I see that you guys do a lot of community outreach with your team. Yep. How has that transitioned into production?
So that's a great question. So a lot of times it happens directly and indirectly. So just today, our team was doing a cleanup off the side of in Chula Vista, off the side of Telegraph Canyon Road, where we adopted a highway. We got some signage there that's going up, and it was our first adopted highway cleanup. And when they're done, they placed the bag down, and I got a call immediately. Hey, they left trash on the side of the road as a business owner. So the agent was like, "I'm going right over there." Rosie went over there, met with them, and had a conversation. A lot of times, it just allows us to reach the community, right? So now I have the owner's cell phone number of that bar, and we had a great conversation. Other times, it's sponsored a baseball team, meeting folks out in the community, helping them. I helped the Skyline Pony baseball team start up in their community, and our clients live in that community. So a lot of times, it's taking care of those folks, and then people recognize our logo or recognize our brand, and they reach out. So I was able to do a couple land deals from that, and then also, we do an Easter egg hunt every year in a newer community. And folks just recognize our logo and our team, and they know who to call on because you don't need an agent until you need an agent. So we've gotten some direct deals from signage and advertising, and then also we probably have some deals coming in the future from it.
I love that because that's the whole purpose of our nonprofit Veteran Homeowners Club also is specifically, and that's what's crazy about it. Some of the things, and I think that's why we're complementary to each other because we were able to bring in your family of realtors and be able to, spread wider, right. Have a wider reach.
Right.
Now, what was the main decision for you partnering with us?
The main decision for partnering is, well, obviously we had a similar vision. I had watched you over the years, your content wasn't as good as mine. No, I'm just kidding. But I had watched you over the years as well. But we're essentially doing the same thing, doing classes on base, talking to folks, looking out for the military community just in two different areas. You had, North County. I was down in South County. Now, I saw you encroaching on my space. But I was like, sometimes it's like, if you can't beat them, join them, right? And it's not about like getting more deals or anything like that. But really, our team comes from a place of, hey, how can we help veterans, right? And no one understands more than people that have served. You've served. Your folks here have served. And so we had a lot of folks that want us to join their firm, a lot of teams that wanted to merge, and they just didn't have the same path that we have. So we know what path your vision was on. You're looking out for veterans, Atlanta Cardone looking out for veterans. And so now, it was easy, like, okay, this is a good move. And so when I talked to my boss, Sasha, she was like, hey, we laid everything out. And I was like, hey, it involved moving our loan officers and our agents. And it was a big move. And we did it seamlessly because you have the same colors as us. And the team had the same knowledge base and genuine care for veterans. So
I love that, man, because sometimes when I will say this, man, look, if you guys want to grow farther, you have to partner with people, right? Because especially if and this is one thing that I will say, man, like everybody's trying to build a Lamborghini. Yes. We've already built it, guys. So if you guys are military realtors or you're a service member and you're looking to support veterans and you're in the real estate industry, hit us up because we're blowing this thing up. And Sasha, Constance, and the ladies, Betsy, we're launching 10X military spouses, guys. This is for and by people who support military spouses, and that's the next big thing. Our partnership with Grant Cardone just happened in February of last year, and we're looking to reach 21 million veterans nationally, and it comes with partnerships. So if you guys want to reach out to us, how can they reach you?
So you can reach me on any social media platform. My handle is Realtor Renew. So just like military, I just use my last name. So Realtor, REANUE, on all platforms, and I can be reached there.
Okay, so tell me about the logo. All right, who came up with it? How'd you design it?
So I came up with it. So it's a house with a handshake, blue and red, with our name below, Renew Home Team, and Integrity First People always below that. Came up with it because it's for us. It's all about partnerships. Mm-hmm. So every time we do close the transaction, like I would go meet the other agent, shake hands with him, and say, "Hey, thanks for taking care of this veteran." And so the handshake was an easy logo for me. Now, I saw it on something else too. So I was like, hey, I want this blue and red. Went to Fiverr.com. Shout out to Fiverr. And those the young man in Pakistan took care of me. And and that's where it was born at. And so it just signifies, the blue and red, two different colors. It's not just the Navy versus Marines, which are our agents for first. It's also just different colors of skin, different backgrounds. It just represents a whole host of things. And so that's the significance of just keeping it to two colors.
That's really cool, man. Yeah. And it's interesting to kind of to hear about that because, people over profit has always been one of the things that I say over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I believe that that's why we got into this lawsuit with NAR. And I think that shout out to Betsy. What's up, Betsy? I see you on Clubhouse. Make sure you guys give Betsy Palma. She's on the Renew Home Team. She's also going to be in 10X Military Spouses. So shout out to her. I do have a question for you before we get into the NAR lawsuit thing.
Yes.
A couple of more questions about, maintaining and managing a team. What's the future of the Renew team?
Oh, that's a great question. So we want to be a one-stop shop, right, for everything that, primarily veterans need. And we love our civilians too, and we have civilian agents as well. But we have credit repair, right? We have loan officers. We have realtors. We have folks coming on under SkillBridge. We have different things in the works for other projects. And really just want to be a place where folks can come and learn anything they want to learn about anything and go from there. Initially, my aspirations was to have a brokerage. Got a little taste of that for a little while. And hey, shout out to EXP. I'll stick to EXP for now. But that was originally my plan. But it's but then that goes to it didn't meet what I wanted to do, right? So being a broker is great, but there's a lot of admin. A lot of my time was spent just doing all admin and just doing all kinds of things that I never intended to do. So I'd rather concentrate on the people. Mm-hmm. And so being a part of the EXP brand, I'm able to just concentrate on the people, and the technical admin legal stuff is left to a whole nother team that they're doing great. And so I'd rather have that. So just really just keeping the team the way it is. We've always been, although we're 20 agents or 21 agents, we're still rather small in my eyes, and
that's pretty noble, though. That's pretty good to keep to maintain a team of 20 agents. You know what I like about this scenario? And shout out to Anna. Anna, I see you on stage. I hear you. So Anna, this is my sister. Okay, so we had a conversation a while back, and Anna, you can't come off mute and let everybody know that you talked to me and you told me. I can honestly say that, right? So she was like, let go of that Remax. She told me, let go of that Remax. Right, but it wasn't the right decision at the time.
Right.
But since we were able to partner with Grant and I want to say this, guys, look, the conversation that I had with Grant, you know what he said? How can I help you guys? This is a billionaire asking how he can help us grow. He paid for our first event.
Right.
His wife is a military brat. They really support the military. So, having someone like that at that magnitude, being able to expand our vision, this is going to be unstoppable. And you guys are witnesses in this real time. I see a bunch of my friends that are on stage. I have another question for you.
Yeah.
What is it like to work with other service members on your team?
It's really, when you're in the military, working with other folks is like you become a family, right? And so it's the same. Even our civilians that we have on the team that have been with us, they all have been with us for a long while. They just they weed in. They understand the military background dynamic now, and they get it. Like they get that. You when someone doesn't show up to the morning meeting, that you need to call them to check on them because we have and we meet every single morning. Or we do a huddle every single morning, and if somebody's not there for 2 or 3 days consistently, everyone will text me later and say, "Hey, what's going on with this agent?"
That's good. I like that.
If not, they show up to their house with flowers. And Natasha checked on one of our agents one time, and she was new. So immediately they come in and they know because it's a familiar dynamic. And so that's what I love. We have the same culture we had in the military, regardless of what branch, and we bring it into the team, and it carries on, and it's made us very strong.
Now, and another question that I have for you is, so what is it like being a loan officer? Let me take another drink for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Fighting for it now. For those of you who don't know, guys, okay, so Anthony Reanue is also a MLO, okay, and he's dual hatted. Now, this is new for you, and Constance and you guys have been working in complementary to each other.
Right.
Tell me give me a snapshot of what that life is like, because before we were on the we started the show, I heard you going in talking to, can you tell? Okay, so listen, y'all need to come into the office because he got a lead too. By the way.
Right. All within like 10 minutes. Yeah.
So tell me about what it's like to, what was that conversation like? Because I heard you talking to some people before you got here. Can you explain what you were doing before we started the show?
Yeah, so what I was doing is oftentimes when a listing agent calls me, asks me why a veteran needs a closing cost or why they need this credit or, about their financials or why they don't have a lot of money in the bank. It takes me really, advocating for the veteran and just saying, hey, look, we don't get paid much, right? Like once I say, hey, I'm a Navy Chief and I met you at the open house, like, so yeah, you're the big guy, you're a great guy, like, yeah. So, hey, like I know his situation, I was him. And so I need you to understand that, hey, he needs that credit. So communicate that to your seller. We went, this agent went above, and then didn't lowball your client, but they need that assistance. And if not, we can figure something else out. And so just really communicating to her, like, hey, not to worry about the VA loan. Don't worry about certain things that she's been hearing in the news. And so it was just really just communicating to her how my client's great and just as great as any other offer that she's going to get. And so I'm confident that he's going to get it. It was a quick, we were getting ready to start the podcast. He called me. I walk out to finish the call, and then there's a person in the front. So I took a lead, Army vet. And he's like, yo, I have a 500 credit score. Like, we thought this was Liberty on base. And I said, oh, you thought this was the Liberty Center? I said, no, this is
that's perfect.
Right. So I said, no. And the wife was like, oh, yeah, like I figured it out as soon as I came in. I said, this is a real estate, company. And they said, hey, we're thinking about renting or buying. And, it's just that we need to buy in the future. And I said, why is that? They're like, well, my credit is bad. And I said, what's bad about your credit? Well, I had a repossession. So the VA doesn't care. I had a collection and I didn't pay it. So, and then they said something else. It was 500 credit score. I said, well, let's go. Let's do an application. They're like, what? I said, yeah, we can do that. Next door can't do it. Navy Federal, shout out to Navy Federal. But
oh, man, hold on. Hey, if we disappear, y'all already know what happened.
Right. Like, oh, I'm already on the list. So, but different lenders can do different things. And I said, we're a direct lender and also a broker. Military Mortgage Group, American Pacific Mortgage will take care of you. So I got that number in my phone now. So when I leave here, actually, I'm going to take care of that file. So
can we put a fire emoji in the chat, man, for that? Because guess what? That guy right now did not have the confidence to know that he was going to be able to actually invest in a piece of real estate. Listen, there is no minimum credit score for the VA loan. There is no maximum loan amount. It's 100% financing, and you can buy up to 5 units, 1 business unit and 4 dwelling units with the VA home loan benefit. And this is why we partner with veterans, because there's so many people and so many misconceptions about the VA home loan benefit. So for those of you guys that are on Clubhouse, please click the link above my head. You'll be able to see, if you guys support the military, click the link above my head. Show some love for Anthony Reanue coming on here. And also, I want to give a special shout out to my brother JP. All right, JP just retired. Okay, and all of the other service members that are on the live today. And I see Eugene Douglas, one of the team members that are down there in the listening lounge. So shout out to you as well. So now let's get into this. The misconceptions about VA loans. What are some of the hardest things that you have to deal with on the mortgage side with realtors?
On the mortgage side is realtors, yes. So just that, communicating why a client looks strong, although their credit score is not as high as their civilian counterparts, or not having enough money, is just saying, hey, look, they just PCS from another country. They didn't build credit in that country because they left with this debt and they didn't have any new credit. So really just communicating the difference and how flexible the VA loan is. I always say, hey, look, in the VA loan, if something happens, we probably can find a solution. Connie, said when I first started doing loans here that, hey, there's always a solution to a problem. And shout out to Connie, like, that's true. Like, I have seen some stuff. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I didn't think that was going to go through. But just dealing with agents is really communicating. And a lot of folks, quite frankly, lenders don't do manual underwrites. A lot of lenders.
Oh, wait. Yep. I want you to pause with that. Everybody put manual underwriting in the chat, because we have a lot of real estate professionals that are on the chat. And I want you to talk about this. You go to Navy Federal, USAA, Pentagon Federal, all of these. What you guys don't know is that military, when you're in the military, they give you a bank. So what do you think that person is going to go to for a loan? Do you really think that Navy Federal Credit Union, USAA, and all of these other lending institutions give a care about you having bad credit? There's just been a big thing about Navy Federal Credit Union discriminating against minorities.
Yeah, I'm in that article. Yeah.
Right? Yep. So what would you tell a person that has challenging credit right now, that doesn't have the confidence to buy a property? And what are you going to do with that Army veteran that came in? Can you walk us through that scenario and explain what manual underwriting is?
Absolutely. So first, when someone comes to us, what we do is a roadmap, right? So all our military mortgage group lenders, when I'm training a new lender, I say, hey, look, this is where we're going to walk the veteran through how to get qualified if they're not qualified. And that's something that these big banks don't do either. And that was in that Navy Federal article about, discriminating against, people of color and getting conventional loans, is they don't tell you why you're disqualified or how to get qualified. And so what we do is we walk them through step by step. We give them a roadmap and say, hey, here's the things you need to do. If you pay just a little bit more to this credit card, within 72 hours, I'm going to get your credit score to a 580, and you'll qualify for this particular thing that you want or this particular rate that you're trying to get. And so we sit down and we guide them, and with care. And so just like if they came to me as a chief in the military, I'm going to tell them how to do something by looking at the facts. And we do softer inquiries, so we're not pulling a hard credit report. And we really hone in on what we could do to get them in the house. And we draw that out for them. And a lot of times the time frame is a lot closer than they think. So I had a young lady in Maryland hit me up on Facebook because she saw another friend I closed in Texas. And I said, hey, you could qualify too. And she's like, no, not me. Maybe a year from now. And then got on the phone with her on the way to the base. Had got to the gate with security, like, hold on, show my ID. And I was like, hey, I'm going to work, but just send me your social, birth date, and this. And she sent me her information, and I said, hey, you're qualified. And she had no idea. And so she had been, renting for the last 5 years since she got out the Navy, and she served with me, and didn't know she could actually get a house. So yeah, we walk them through. We do a roadmap. What I'm going to do with that young man is call him. I told him I'm going to do a soft inquiry on him, give him a path to home ownership, and that's what we're gonna make sure he gets in the house.
Now, see, and the reason why I love that so much is because, I don't know, man. I like the orangutan lizards and hyenas, man.
right, me too.
I don't know why I like them. And the reason why I like them is because, those people that you show them that they can do something that they can't do, those are the most loyal, referring people on the planet, right? Those are the people that will go down like, look, man, this guy, it's like a megaphone. I have gotten more business from people with challenging scenarios because there is no. Okay. It's no such thing. It's just a win. So I want you guys to remember that there is no to the pathway to home ownership because of what Military Mortgage Group is doing. And we work collaboratively on how to get there. Now, why is it important? How do you think that working with a team that serves the military has helped you become a better loan officer?
Oh, that's a great question. It's given me the ability to see the loan through the realtor and the client's eyes, right? So a lot of times as loan officers, we sit in a room for hours. Like it's a grueling process sometimes to get a picture, get a story of this person's financial history. And, it's easy to say, oh, you know what? The desktop underwriter, Fannie Mae said no. Like, you're not qualified, or, $200,000, but I know damn well they can't get a house for $200,000. So to push it to go to manual underwrite, to do that 64% DTI, I want to do it because I know what it's like getting a pre-approval from a lender, keeping them at a 50% DTI. Like in California, that's hard right now. And so I understand what the realtors are going through. I know it's impossible to get a home in Chula Vista with the Melrose and all the things because I've sold homes there, right? So I understand the market. I understand what they've been through. And so I think that's what, makes me such a strong loan officer is the ability to know what the realtors are going through, also how to communicate the situation to realtors so they understand, and being an advocate. Because also you'll see, even at our own bank and banks I broker to, their senior underwriters have processed thousands of loans that know nothing about the VA home loan. Because we're although it's all I do, it's such a small piece, a small drop in the bucket of what the entire loan system looks like, or the mortgage loan's been written. So so I enjoy it. Like, oh, you're wrong. Here's the instruction, but it's really just communicating and advocating all day, every day, and just understanding everybody. So
now I know your phone be ringing off the hook, man.
Oh,
right?
Oh man, I got so many missed messages, and I'm bad with that. Sorry, guys. I'm working on it. Look.
Now you know.
I can see it ringing right now. Look,
it's ringing right now.
Yeah. So it doesn't stop, and I don't mean to be a bad loan officer or agent. When you are helping so many people, it is a challenge.
Yes,
I have 2 assistants, 2 virtual assistants. I have 2 cell phones, boy, and at some point I got to turn them off and go to sleep. So I apologize.
I'm sorry, man, because I be getting phone calls at like 9 o'clock at night.
They don't stop.
Tony, I just wondering. I just want to let you know that I just bought. Listen, do not buy any furniture or no new cars while you're going through the loan process.
Please, that has happened so many times to me.
So now let's unpack this NAR lawsuit.
Yes.
Okay, so put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are enjoying this conversation. Welcome to the Win in Real Estate Show. You're on the SITREP Podcast where we help you win in real estate. Shout out to all of the people that are on the stage right now. We're going to get into the nitty gritty now. Let's get into it. I see a couple of people. Are there any questions or comments that you guys would like to add? I need numbers for our buyer. Boss, he just got off the phone.
And I literally was just talking about your deal. Okay, Betsy? See, it doesn't stop. So agents need something from me, clients on both sides. So it's a challenge. I got to take care of my team. So Betsy, yes, I think she's going to accept your offer, but we'll talk about that offline.
And he just had that phone call.
Literally.
I can actually vouch for that. This agent was actually grilling him. She was like, so when did you cut your hair bald?
Right. When did you get licensed?
When did you get licensed? She actually asked that question.
Yeah.
When did you get licensed? How long have you been doing VA loans? I mean, she was straight up grilling.
Oh, yeah.
But which is actually cool. I actually respect that because she's trying to give you a fair shot.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the NAR lawsuit. For those of you who don't know, okay, so there was a lawsuit basically say that there was price fixing, and there's a lot of misinformation that is out there. And I actually just talked to a client on the phone that asked me about this scenario, asking for my commission, believe it or not. So what's your interpretation of what's going on in the market?
All right. So in the market right now, well, with this whole lawsuit, there's a lot of confusion, right? And so real estate agents don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Clients are seeing the news with all the terrible headlines. Clickbait like crazy. And folks just want to know, how to navigate it. So the I guess what was proposed by NAR has not been finalized yet.
That's
right?
correct.
So it'll be finalized in April. That's the timeline they've given us so far. And, it's not supposed to kick in until mid-July. But one thing that really scares me, and going back to my veterans, always advocate for veterans, is that in the VA guidelines, what a lot of folks haven't been looking at, in the lender's handbook, it states that veterans can't pay a realtor commission. So now, when rates come down this summer, and folks come out like they did during COVID, and our VA offers are at the bottom of the stack. I was actually on NBC during COVID talking about this, and they were saying, how are you as a military agent getting offers accepted? Like, what are you doing? And so I got to talk, and I think that's on my IG many moons ago. But they're going to be at the bottom of the pile, and now they're going to go even further because now they're going to be asking the seller for the commission. And they know, the seller's going to know they may not have the money to pay or they can't pay their agent. They don't have the money, nor can they pay the agent by law, or by the rules or regulations. So it's going to hurt them. And so I called a few of my clients already that are, they're kind of just like, I'm watching the market, waiting for that bubble to pop that everybody talks about. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, hey, now's the time because we don't know. The government's slow to respond to things.
That is true.
And we all know that after serving, very slow. And so it's going to be a period there where veterans aren't going to get homes. If this goes through, there's going to be a period, and I'm concerned that they won't get homes and they're going to miss out. And then there's going to be prices are going to be at a premium. The rates are going to go maybe trend back up, and they would have missed that little window of when it was low. So I'd rather them buy now, do that VA IRRRL, 210 payments in, 6 payments later, and get their property.
And I'm glad that you said that because, and I'll tell you what's going on, guys. So essentially what was happening is that NAR didn't take care of their realtors. I'm calling it what it is. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's a lot of people that were doing things illegal because out here in California, we have never, ever, 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 right? Even in our listing agreement, it says it is an option to pay the buyer's agent. It has never been up to us. They can pay. We only talk about what our responsibility as listing agents is. We never did say that you have to pay. We just showed them the facts and what everybody else was doing, and it was up to them.
And really, it's written, we're splitting it with, so whatever we negotiate in the commission, we're just splitting with the buyer's agent. So they actually, and if they contested it or want to do different numbers, it's all written in the contract. So there's nothing being hidden, no wolves put over anyone's eyes. So it's kind of concerning to hear that.
And then, and just so you guys know, when I was on the call with the attorneys, they basically said that the seller still can offer a buyer's agency commission. And let me tell y'all what buyers do. We're going to ping pong. Let's talk about the value. And I believe this in my heart. The reason why do we have to fight for our value? And the reason why is because people were getting the 3 Series BMW standing in front of $1 million home and not knowing how to do real estate.
100%.
So this is a result of agents not knowing how to do what they're supposed to do. Right. So when I look at this scenario, the major change is that once you take a listing, you still can offer a buyer's agent commission. You just cannot have it in the MLS.
Correct.
And then also we're going to have to start signing those agency agreements. However, the problem with that is that where's the money going to come from for veterans?
Right.
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 How are the veterans? If they're not offering that commission, that means that the buyer's agent is working for free. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about some of the things. What are some of the things that a buyer agent has to do?
Oh man. Listen, negotiate. No, but schedule the home inspections, go through the disclosures, review the prelim, make sure that they're the referee. They make sure the listing agent's doing what they're supposed to do, order the termite inspection report. We just had to educate an agent who's been in the business many moons that you're required to pay for the inspection because you agreed to it. Mm-hmm. And she said, nope, you're paying the $3,000. I said, we're not. Another lender sent me an email this morning saying a client was going to pay for the extension of the lock because that's a seller requirement. I said, no, as a lender and a realtor, I'll tell you, no, that's not happening. You're the person that is pushing the deal along to make sure everyone, escrow, title, and everyone is doing their part to make it done. There's so much to list. I don't even know where to start. But they're the glue. Really the buyer's agent is the glue.
And I completely agree with that because a listing agent can the listing agent, obviously they do a lot of work, but imagine an agent driving around showing 15, 20 houses and not getting paid nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So VA, I hope you guys are listening to this. You got 24 hours to respond. All right. Because
let's go.
Our veterans, why would you not want to? Veterans are fighting and signing up to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Mm-hmm. So why would you not want a veteran to own the home that they're defending for us? So we got to fix this ASAP. And my personal belief, and tell me what you think about this. I believe that the commission should be added into the loan, just like the VA funding fee.
That's a possibility. Absolutely.
Right. So I'm hoping that that's a scenario to where they're able to do that, and we could do that because then agents are going to have to do what they're supposed to do. But this is a good thing, though. And the reason why I feel like it's a good thing is because I feel like it's all of the agents that are mediocre are going to get out of the market.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way they're going to survive out here.
Yeah.
And I mean, one step further, a lot of those trash agents, sorry guys, come from those referral companies. So like Navy Federal partnered with certain brokerages.
Oh, he keeping it real.
I'm keeping it real. Hey, sorry, Navy Federal, coming for you again. But, and there's a great program, but those agents, they get a lot of referrals. And so they don't treat the veterans with the most respect. And really the way it's paid for is through the commission of those agents.
That's true.
That kickback of $10,000 if you go through, who's that, Rocket Mortgage and their realtors, that's where it comes from. So that's going to go away too, so there's going to be a lot of change.
And I'm glad that you said that. And then I see one of the realtors, Miss Zahn. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Do you have a question or comment that you'd like to propose to the stage?
I just joined, so I'm a big VA buyer here in Dallas. I do lots with veterans for over 10 years. And yeah, this has really shaken me up. I mean, yes and no, it is what it is. But, up until now, even if I get paid 1% from a seller, even if I could charge a VA buyer, I would not. It's just not right? And the law says that we can't. But now when I'm looking at 0%, Tony, what am I going to tell that VA buyer? What are we going to say to them?
And I'm glad that you brought that to the stage because that's a really good question because, it's a problem. But one of the biggest things that I know is that, service members will figure it out.
Right.
And I believe that we need to stand together on pushing legislation to change this and bring awareness to this. If I got to write the president, I'm going to do it. Right. And I believe that if we join together and we get enough information up to the VA, then they would put some fire. But I don't think that the veterans and the government, the VA, they react to it. So usually they're not responding to it and getting ahead of it. But I believe that, I'm going to figure out something. Anthony, are you down to help me figure out who to write? Let's do
absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
this is what we're going to do. Anthony and I, along with our staff, we're going to get together and then we're going to write some letters to maybe a congressman or get it up to the VA president and just say, hey, what is the answer for these buyers that are in the market? We need to know before this rule comes down so we can figure this out. What's up, Bree? I see you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you for coming on the live. And, I believe that for those of you that are out there, listen, we stand together. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you stand together for supporting veterans. And guys, listen to me. We're launching an initiative called Cardone Veterans Group. Okay. Our veteran wealth formula. And we have the 10X military spouses that we're looking for a few good agents and loan officers to join myself and Anthony on our journey to making real estate investors the correct way. So if you guys are interested in that, okay, make sure that you hit us up on anthonysocial.com. And there's a number that we're going to put in the chat that you guys could text us if you guys want to be a part of this movement. And we need to get on the phone, ma'am, because if you're out there fighting for veterans, we want you to be a part of this movement as well.
Absolutely.
I will be there, Tony. I just need where to go, who to go, what to say.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Put a fire emoji in the chat if that doesn't fire you up, man, because I think it's important, man. Conventional buyers, we already know that they have what it takes to invest in real estate, but those FHA buyers and VA buyers are going to have a problem. It's just going to happen.
Yes. But the thing that bothers me, or I feel like, you know how slow the VA moves? That's a
Yes,
concern of mine.
absolutely.
And we're going to have no control over that, but we got to get something started now, like you said, before June or July. But, and I guess they'll react when they want to react. Like, that's frustrating in itself. They're so slow.
Right. So that's why, you know what I'm think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to pull all of our staff in here. And if you guys want to put a message out there, because we make enough noise on social media, it's going to get attention.
Absolutely.
If we got 100 people that says, hey, what are we going to do about these veterans with the NAR lawsuit? And we just put that out there and we have enough people doing it, I think it's going to get attention. Because guess what, man? I'll be a orangutan going hard in the paint for the veteran. And I got to catch up, man. Anthony done put down this beer, man.
That's the Navy Chief in me.
I'm with you. This melts my heart. It's really, it hurts my heart unless something has got to be done. So,
yeah, right. I agree with you. And I really appreciate you coming on stage to say something and speaking up for the veterans, because it's important. And does anybody else want to share any thoughts on stage in regard to this lawsuit? What do you guys think about the lawsuit? Or any questions for Anthony? Anybody want to speak out?
I mean, really, it is what it is. There's only, it's not really telling us a lot. The two things we have to do, is this my understanding? The first thing is, as of June and July, BAC will no longer be an MLS. That's number one. That's a guaranteed, that's not going away. Is that correct?
That's correct. So what will be displayed in the MLS will be the commission for the listing side, but the buyer side will be off MLS. But it's from, according to the lawsuit and the attorneys from NAR, they are proposing that it still be offered, but it has to be offered outside of the MLS. So it will either be on a website, you could put what you offer, and there was proposed for it to be a marketing fee for the buyer's agent. So they're trying to work through it, but it sucks because they've been dealing with this lawsuit for years.
Yes. It's not
right. So I think that, if we make enough noise and offer some solutions, because I don't want them to make the decision for them. I think that we need to put our heads together and come up with what could be some adequate solutions, because the people at the top that are making the decisions are not vets. Mm-hmm. So we have to, the boots on the ground, hearing from real estate professionals will be a good way to get the information out there. Okay, Bam, come on, brother. I see you in the chat. You got to come on stage at least before you promote in the room, doggy. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions that they would like to propose to the stage before we move on with the interview?
I just wanted to thank both of you, because you have both helped me immensely. But just recently, I was talking with Anthony Reanue. I'm getting ready to PCS to Colorado. And when I called the Colorado DRE, they said, oh, well, since you haven't done it for 2 years, you are treated as a new agent and you have to start over. And as a member of 10X military spouses, or 10X ladies, and being with both of you guys, Anthony's wife, Sasha, emailed me this article from the DOJ, like, no, they're wrong. Like, from January 2023 and on, they need to honor all licenses going state to state with military orders. So just throwing that out there to say thank you, basically.
And
I was on the
phone
with the DOJ today.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Service Members Civil Relief Act does cover military spouses when it comes to licensing and credentials. So that's what she's speaking about. So a lot of folks don't know about that either. So a lot of education going on.
And guys, this is the things that you guys need to be aware of, because there's a lot of information regarding some of the things that could happen in regard to breaking leases and, lowering your interest rates on credit cards and all types of other things that we're going to be pushing out in 10X Military Spouses and Caught On Veterans Group with the Veteran Wealth Formula. So if you guys want more information about that, we're going to put the text number in the chat. Anthony, can you put that actual number in the chat? For those of you who want more information about what we're doing, there's going to be a number in the chat that you guys could text. Okay, this beer is catching up with me. I'm like, the remix. Right. So Anthony, I got a couple of other questions for you.
Yes.
If you could go back to year one, Anthony Reanue, real estate professional, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh man, if I could go back, I think I would have got louder. You talk about it all the time, but I would have got louder on social media. I would have got louder over everything. That was hard because of where my duty was, but I would just got louder and just really. I feel like I could have done more, gotten in front of more folks, helped more families, and all because I'm typically a very chill, quiet guy. That I was like, oh, if they know me, they know me. I was like the secret agent, but as time goes on, I'm realizing that people just don't know. And so the more I get the information out, that's really my mission is outreach and getting, you're doing a great job of putting word out. And I'm glad Grant partnered with us as well. But just getting the information in front of the veterans so they can make informed decisions so they don't fall behind because we're already disproportionately at a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. And so I just wish, if I could go back, I would have just got louder. I made plenty of money. I think I would have just got louder. And of course, I would have equated to a better business or bigger business. But it really just, I would have helped more folks.
And the reason why I asked that question is because if I could do anything over again, also, I would have partnered with more people faster.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So because, it takes a village, guys. And one thing that you guys are doing just by you being here helps us support. So let people know where Anthony Reanue, myself, and our team is at. OK, because I believe that the only way that we're going to make a huge impact nationally, I'm telling you right now, you guys are on the ground floor of us reaching 21 million veterans. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be, if you're a real estate professional and you want to join our group and get training and also an opportunity to reach more veterans and get more veteran business, hit us up. If you're looking to help, now, if you want to make money, then go somewhere else. But if you want to help vets, the helping vets is going to be a result by doing a good job and getting more veterans in your community. Join our movement. If you have a military spouse that that is looking to get personal professional development, Elena has taken on the role for us doing that. And we got some exciting things like grants and stuff that we're going to be pushing out. And then also, if you're an entrepreneur, you're looking to grow a business and get grants or even partner with veterans by utilizing their VA home loan benefit, you actually can do that. You don't even have to be a vet to do this. Okay. I see my dad, husband, and son are disabled veterans. We need to talk. And I'm glad that you're on here. Okay. So it says what is that? Yeah, I know I'm an ASVAB waiver. Okay. What does that say right here? Then ever give up mentally. Okay.
That's her name.
Yeah. So if you guys are looking to do that, we're going to put a link in the chat. Anthony, can you put that link in the chat and the number? Text WIN to this phone number or VA to this number. We're going to put it in the chat for you guys, and you guys can get more information with Anthony Reanue and myself about how to join this movement to help veterans. Now, what is something that you would like what is a misconception about Anthony Reanue that you would like people to know?
Well, a lot of people think I'm not in the military anymore, but I am. So, yeah. So if you didn't know, here I am. But no, I think a misconception about me. A lot of folks think I suffer from RBF, so they may think I'm mean or. But no, really, I think it goes down to I don't hold any grudges, and big thing for me is I really care for folks. So for me, like you stated, this is not about money. This is more about taking care of folks. So. If I ever, I don't think I come across that way, but if I ever do come across as having commission breath or, looking to close a deal, that's never been my way. And I think if you talk to any of my clients, they can attest to that. So
I hear somebody. Is that our little cousin over there, Catherine? Shout out to Catherine. Okay, so another thing that I'd like to ask before we close, you have a very special family. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. With a lot of challenges.
Right.
Can you talk about that and how are you able to balance that?
Yeah. So, although I'm old, I have a young family. So my children are 1, 3, 5, and 10. So my 5-year-old has autism. Mm-hmm. And so we found out he was autistic, I think right as I was going on a deployment. And Sasha's done a great job of advocating and doing that. But, the way I navigate it is, he's obviously has his own way of doing things. He has I think it's a 3QD cell duplication and some other things that we don't know. It's a rare thing that we don't know how it's going to affect him. But And so, yeah, through all these, these three careers that I do almost every day, that's my main priority. And so that's my why, my family. And so really, I do everything I can for them, but also, I spend a lot of time taking care of my son. And so it really goes down to, if you don't understand autism, please, there's great organizations like Autism Speaks, look into that. They're a great organization. There's folks doing great things out here with autism. And my son is just now growing. So although he's 5, he has the mentality of maybe a 1 or 2 year old. And so that's a challenge, and he loves Teslas. So, when he saw the Cybertruck in real life, he was like, man, and he barely smiles, but that brought a smile to his face. And he like literally, we just left the Tesla charger a little bit ago, and he was excited because he wanted to slam on every car. Like, he has to touch them. And so if he runs away in the neighborhood, he elopes. So that's a challenge. So he'll get away from us. But so when he runs off, we'll usually find him at the nearby Tesla. So very unique brain he has going on there, but he might be the next Elon Musk. So we'll see. But yeah, and my other children are wonderful, and they do a great job with him. Even my 1-year-old, man, he's already walking, talking well before he was 1. And I have 2 boys, 2 girls. Every other child is opposite sex, so a great mix of children. And the last 2 were bonuses. We didn't plan that. We didn't plan any of them, but the last 2 were super surprising. And it's really, and if I could say anything, it's like really understand what folks, parents with children with special needs are going through. There's not a lot of resources out there, and they're not really easy to find either. A lot of times we have to rely on other parents to find out about the resources out there. So it's a real huge challenge. And so I'm here for support. Anybody needs anything or any questions about that. But the more I navigate, there's a lot more autistic children in the world today than there has ever been. So I'm finding almost every other family I talk to has an autistic child. So it's rough, but it's something we do, and I wouldn't change anything. So.
Indeed, man. This has been a phenomenal podcast. Guys, I'm going to tell you guys, listen, what do you guys think about the podcast? Put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys enjoyed this podcast. Anthony, this was a very, very special one to me. It took me 2 years to get you on here. All right. I did. I'm like, he's like, podcast? What podcast? He's like, never. I'm going to Jamaica.
This is exclusive. Yeah.
But I want to tell you, man, it's an honor to have you and your team. You came at a time, and I can say this from my heart, man. You came at a time to where we were rebuilding.
Right.
And, one thing that's been true to us is that veterans has been at the core of our what we have been doing since day one. Connie and I, we've been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And
to have someone and a family of real estate professionals that have dug themselves in with all of the changes, switching for RE/MAX and having you guys commit to the process has given me the confidence to help lead, and grow this business to the next level. And I'm honored to have you and your family a part. And you are my family, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm really thankful for that. And guys, the number's in the chat. Text WIN to 760-573-2731 if you guys want to be a part of this. And I hope you know how it feels to deliver keys to a veteran. I hope you know how it feels. I'm selfishly addicted to it, and I know that you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Of what it feels like to give that key to someone who has served our country. Can you express that in closing, what it feels like to you?
It makes the 3 or 4 weeks of hell sometimes worth it, right? Like, there is so many hurdles to purchasing a home, and even more so when it's a veteran or a veteran that's struggling, or manual underwrite. A lot of our loans are. And so when we get to hand the keys, that's a moment I try not to miss. I've never actually missed any closings until recently as a loan officer, because I have so many files that I have to handle. But when I was just a real estate agent on my team, I had never missed a closing. Mm-hmm. And so it's such a special moment to me that I'll move anything I have going on. I'll bring my family with me just to see that veteran, that family, that military family get into a home. It's such a huge, momentous occasion because the folks in the military come from all different backgrounds, mm-hmm. but a lot of them come from places where they probably would never have owned had it not been for the VA loan, especially for the amount of money they're putting into it, right? And so it's such a great, there's nothing better than that. Nothing.
It's not, man. And I have a couple of people that we have helped on the stage right now. Shout out to Sheldon Williams. Sheldon, where you checking in from, brother?
Still out here in Colorado, Tony. Listening, chiming in.
Indeed, man. I see Sheldon that's on stage, man. And I see a couple of other people that are up here that were up here before. And I see Tasha. Tasha is another veteran and a couple of other people. It's nothing like it, man. And the reason why I like it so much and I'm addicted to it so much is because when I see the little kids running in an empty house.
Yeah. And talking about which room is theirs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Running around in the house, an empty house. It is like seeing the sun, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing like it. And every single time it's different. Even with people with no kids get in their house and the look on their face or saying that they're about to get their keys, I knew that our family was a part of that. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about it.
Oh, yeah. And the photos they send you afterwards when they get the furniture in there and they invite us back or we go do the housewarming. There's no better job in the world.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
And they're so appreciative of us.
That's true.
And if they can't pay our commission and we can't find a way to help our veterans and make money, there's something wrong with this world.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
We've got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. We will.
It really can be. Probably 3/4 of my business is helping veterans. And I'm worried. I can't tell you I'm not worried. And maybe I'm worrying for nothing. I'm concerned. Okay. I'm still going to do what I do. But when it comes down to June or July, I'm going to call what's going to have to happen if it's not in MLS. We're going to have to call the listing agent, ask if the seller is paying a commission. If they say no, and my veteran that's a list, a house on their list that they want to see, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Tell them oh my gosh, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. And I think that, the biggest thing that I think is that it's a challenge, but we accept it. That's what service members do. And that's what a good professional will do, is that we're going to accept the challenge because it's going to give us an opportunity to still rock out for veterans. And, I also want to say, as long as we're keeping, the people in front of the profit, the money will come somewhere.
Oh, yes.
I believe that God will bless people who help people. And guys, listen to me. If you're not getting into the veteran community, like you're missing out, because these people are so thankful. They're so grateful. They move like they refer like crazy. Mm-hmm. This is a niche that you would not believe how much people and they know. Now, if you do a bad job, good luck. Yeah. Because they're going to tell all of the homies, right?
Right. Right here is that YouTube. So I see Samarie Blake. Uh-huh. She said, Mr. Anthony. So that's actually one of my clients who's a E4 in the Navy, and she's buying with another veteran, E3, and they're buying a $1 million multi-unit. And so we had appraisal issue on the last one, and they're working, Betsy's working tirelessly. Betsy, you're all over this, tirelessly to get them another home. But they're all in, and they want to be investors, and she found a way. And shout out to you, Samarie. Thanks for hopping in.
So, and this is the beautiful part about it, man. Like, there's people out here actually buying multi-units and becoming investors. We do not sell homes, guys. We make real estate investors. We have made over $1 billion for service members, and we're setting them up for success to transition out of the military and have generational wealth. And that's the beauty of it. And that's why we do what we do. Anthony, any closing remarks that you want to share with everyone?
No, all I'll say is, listen, if for those on here that are representing veterans, hey, stay the course. We'll figure this thing out. Tap in with the group. We're going to be loud. We're going to get in with the veteran associations, the different real estate professional groups, and really keep advocating. We've already started. Had a great conversation with VA Rep on Saturday, the president there, and for those that are veterans themselves. Hey, make a decision, not within 24 hours, but quickly, and just really, just keep your ears open and stay tapped in with the group, because, even if it's a year from now, we're still going to take care of you, but we'll just have to navigate it a certain way. For all of us as we move forward, the world is crazy. There's a lot of things going on as I depart after my 20 years of service in the military. I would say we're in a different place than when I started, but the biggest thing is true. People make up the military. People make up how our days go, right? So just stay grateful, stay humble, and keep pressing forward. Not too humble, but just keep pressing forward to make sure that we're all just trying to take care of each other. So and just give another veteran a hug. So there's the suicide. I forgot the term, but the suicide rate is up, and there's a lot of things that are pressing against veterans. So so just keep them in your prayers, and we'll keep doing what we're doing here on the team.
And what's the best way to reach you? So
the best way to reach me is Realtor Reanue on all social media handles. So Realtor Reanue, REANUE. Also, we own an app. We're in the Play Store, in the App Store. It's San Diego Military Realtors, which it's like a home search app. It works in different states as well. Just really, San Diego works the best because we're still growing. And yeah, you can find me, on any of those platforms, and I'm always make time to get to appointments. So my Calendly is the same.
And this has been a phenomenal space. And guys, if you're interested in joining the Reanue team, we're looking for a few good agents that are looking to be a part of Cardone Veteran Group, and then also 10X Military Spouses. And this is a national transferable thing. If you guys are looking to help military spouses get into entrepreneurship or even do personal professional development, the ladies are launching something big. Shout out to the brothers. We had to step in and get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? But it's a collaborative effort. I'm joking, man, because the ladies have been the glue behind everything that we do. Right. And we appreciate all of the leaders and everybody who's been doing this and helping us along. We got Samantha that is going to Colorado. She'll still be able to represent you out here in California and Colorado. And we're not just in California, guys. We are helping veterans nationally. Can you tell me some of the states that you've been representing veterans invest in real estate?
Oh, absolutely. So more recently, Hawaii. We have a few in Hawaii. We have a $2 million deal going on right now. Texas, Maryland, South Carolina, North Carolina. The Carolina is very popular. Georgia, have some great partners in Georgia. And Florida. We're all in Florida. We have our teammate Keyshawn in Florida as well. He's doing a great job out there. Those are the hot spots so far. Virginia.
And this is the reason why I like this, because Keyshawn has one of my clients right now that's pre-qualified, right. Mark Fitzsimmons, that's pre-qualified through Military Mortgage Group, and then Keyshawn is the realtor that's representing him. So if you're interested in being a part of this, getting more VA business, helping more veterans, make sure you text WIN to the 760-573-2731. Again, that's WIN to 760-573-2731. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Get this information. This has been a phenomenal podcast. Anthony, you need to do it more, bro. Right. We got to get back on
maybe
here.
Maybe in the next 2 years.
Okay. We got to get back on here and get more content out. Absolutely. And I appreciate you being here. Yes. It's been awesome.
Definitely.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So we'll be at the Chula Vista Brewery. So the Chula Vista Brewery in Eastlake, the Chula Vista Brewery of Eastlake, there's two down there, is owned by a veteran. He's a Navy Chief. And so we host our VA classes there. So we have one coming up this Friday at 5 p.m. And the beer is provided for free, delicious beer there. And it's a good time. Usually folks hang out after and just, share sea stories. It's a great time. So if you want to learn about the VA loan, we'll be doing it in Chula Vista, Southern San Diego, at the Chula Vista Brewery, and we tend to do that every month.
And then also we have a virtual VA loan masterclass. And by the way, that is trademark. Only we can use VA loan masterclass, Jax, because every time we do something, somebody be biting, but that's for us. Okay. So we have another VA loan masterclass that we'll be holding. That's going to be next Saturday here at 805 College Boulevard, Suite 103. There's going to be content that's going to be coming out. If you guys want to be a part of that, it's going to be in the SITREP YouTube, and it's going to be posted on all of our social media. Please, please, please hit the like button, subscribe button. Also, we have the Win in Real Estate Facebook group. All of that information could be found at anthonysocial.com. You'll see the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, and all of the information on how you can get into the VA Loan Masterclass. And guess what? We have access to all military installations. So if you're looking to get us out to teach, we will come out. We'll fly out to you. Okay, we're going to be in Hawaii. We're going to be in Virginia. If you're looking for us to come do a VA Loan Masterclass, we need at least 50 people. Okay, we will help you advertise, and we'll come out and teach that, and we can also get you guys on base to teach it. And then our military mortgage group will be qualifying the leads. And then if you're a realtor and you want to do that on the military installation or utilize our platforms, you can become a certified realtor to use our Veteran Homeowners Club brand, so you can get more VA buyers. But you got to go through a certification to make sure that you understand VA. So we got a lot of hot things coming up, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for your service.
Long time coming.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.